They tryna turn Trenton into Baby Flint. Been signs by depression on the billboards ever since. 100 years ago we was lynched. Now they use germ warfare to kill us. I'm convinced, got the evidence. I look around and it's evident. Then go down to City Hall and see so much negligence. Real art is intelligent. A true artist sends messages that speak to your intelligence. They fought and died so I can do my thing. Not to get drunk and high or join no gang. I will not let none of you die in vain. For my people I bang, bang, bang. My ancestors been through so much pain. I don't let them die in vain. My ancestors been through so much pain. I don't let them die in vain. I rep for you in everything I do. I rep for you in every place I go. I rep for you in everything I do. In every place I go. They say post-traumatic slavery disorder's fake, but I just tell them all to wake up. Everything we went through, what a way down a rape, bro. Isn't our genetic makeup. So I am my ancestors from block to block. Let's build like it's Tetris. We must unite, link up like a necklace. They fought and died and we disrespected. So I come to correct it. The legacy they left I protected. We only think about self and neglected. You're African but yet you rejected. No, my ancestors been through so much pain. I don't let them die in vain. My ancestors been through so much pain. I don't let them die in vain. I rep for you in everything I do. I rep for you in every place I go. I rep for you in everything I do. In every place I go. I do. I go.
Welcome back to another edition of New Freedom Exchange, your cultural expression for social dignity and community empowerment. I'm your co-host, Brother Deen, here with...
Assalamu alaikum. It's the Imam Bilal Hassan, live and direct here. We are back, NFX, New Freedom Exchange. It is an honor, it is a pleasure to be here with you all this evening. So we are excited to continue our coverage of Islamic Heritage Month, which is still this month of October. As in every Saturday we try to highlight an aspect of Islamic Heritage Month as it relates to our community, the community of Imam Mohammed and just the Muslim community in general. So we're pleased to be here. And as always, we want you all to greet the space. If you're tuned in, please give us the peace and blessings, the salams. Assalamu alaikum to all those who are listening. That means the peace be to you. And we have Sister Hafisa Shamsuddin. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Hafisa, checking in. We have my sister, of course, Khadija, who's always been one of our top day one supporters, top notch, number one, checking in. We appreciate her. Wa alaikum assalam. We have Imam Mikhail Sahir from our good brother from Indianapolis, Indiana, checking in. Wa alaikum assalam, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, to our good friend.
Gave us the
Imam
full
Akasai.
blessing.
Yeah, full blessing. So we appreciate Imam for checking in. So tonight we have a good show. We have a good program for you all this evening. But before then, let us do our check-in. Obviously, we're without our dear beloved Sister Marsha this evening. She had a great event earlier that Deen was out to help assist. Deen, we'd like to talk about how your week was and a little bit about the event earlier that took place in Newark, New Jersey.
Yeah, I'm still on the road, so my sound is going in and out, but hopefully you all can hear me. But yeah, it was a beautiful event earlier. I came a little late, Sisters in Service. They hosted a health and wellness event to the community. They had workshops, they had line dancing, they had COVID tests as well as vaccines for those who wanted to take that. So it was very nice and fun. After that, me and the children, we went over to the Universal. So remember that? You know about that? You know about that?
Yeah, we know about that. We know about that, beloved. Come on, man.
Universal. Yeah, good time. So they my children kept trying to egg me to go on the stage. They tried to do a brothers versus sisters soul line dance or whatever. But I stayed up in the balcony. I didn't want to get too loosey goosey. If you was there, you know how we do. But no, it was a nice event. How was your day?
Alhamdulillah, my day was well. I just finished wrapping up one of our sessions for the mentoring program that I direct here in Queens, New York, dealing with the young men here and women as well. We have a few women scholars, but we had a successful session today. We're introducing podcasting to our scholars as well, who are in middle school and high school. So myself and another educator who's been working in mass media for over 30 years, we're working on the scholars to develop their podcast as well for the organization. And so that went well. And I also had the pleasure and honor of presenting on behalf of Lincoln University, my alma mater, or my second alma mater, earlier this afternoon for the African American Experience Forum and the Covenant Baptist Church of Harlem, New York. They had a virtual HBCU fair that I was invited, or a chapter alumni, Lincoln alumni, New York Metro chapter was invited to. So had the honor of representing and talking to the scholars from across the country about Lincoln, and just hearing from the other reps on there was also a very good feeling to see some of the other colleges that don't get a lot of limelight in the media because they're not as big as the Howards and the Morehouses and North Carolina ATs. So we forget about the Wiley colleges, the Alabama A&Ms, and all these smaller HBCUs that are doing some marvelous work. Dillard University, Grambling, Tougaloo. Shout out to Sister Aisha K. Can't forget Sister Aisha K. Your alma mater was on. If she listens to this recording,
Tougaloo.
shout out to Tougaloo. Yeah, Tougaloo was represented as well. So it was a great afternoon for sure. So very beneficial. And we're working with some scholars who actually are very interested in coming to Lincoln. So we're going to be working with them to making sure that they get the application in, and inshallah get some scholarships. But yeah, so without no further ado, we don't want to delay because everyone is here for the program this evening. And the program this evening, we're focusing on this episode on the Focolare Movement and our relationship between the communities of Imam W, Mohammed, and the Focolare Movement. And the program that's coming up, we're celebrating our relationship and celebrating the historical pact that took place between both leaders, the Imam W, Mohammed, and Kiara Lubrick. May Allah forgive them both of their sins and grant them the high station in paradise for the work they did to advance humanity. So we have members of the Focolare Movement with us, and we have also another a partner with us who is representing our community as well. So we want to bring them on. Sister Muslima, Sister Kate, Sister Sasha, and I think there's one other person sitting on that table. So let's bring them on the screen so they can introduce themselves. Bring them up. Let's bring them up. Yeah, there we go. Muslima. Yes.
Hello.
Okay. Welcome.
Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening. Okay, it's good to see everyone, and happy to welcome you all to the New Freedom Exchange platform. We are live, and we're very happy for you all to be here and for us to join in this conversation about this wonderful event and this wonderful experience that our two communities share. But before then, why don't we allow our guests to introduce themselves to the audience? Let us first start out with our members of the Focolare, our sisters. So go ahead, whoever wants to go first, and introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay, I've been volunteered to go first. So my name is Kate. I live in Pittsburgh, which is where the three of us happen to be this evening. Kate O'Brien. I've known the Focolare Movement for all of my life. And since I grew up in Ireland, but when this pact that we'll be talking about tonight, and in the event that we're advertising tonight, when this pact happened in '97, I was in high school, and I was just sharing earlier with these two friends that that it was something that impacted us all around the world, all of us Focolare people and friends of Focolare around the world. It was something that spoke to us all, and I would say impacted and had a big impact on my life too. So Kate O'Brien grew up in Ireland, been living in the US for 10 years, almost 11, but really excited to be here with you guys tonight.
Thank you, Kate. Go ahead.
Greetings, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. My name is
Alaikum
Sasha.
assalam.
My name is Sasha. It's a pleasure and honor to be here with everyone. I come from Chicago. So yes, we are here in Pittsburgh tonight. I think, thank you, God. He just brought us all together to be able to be in community with all of you tonight. Who knew this could happen? But here we are. And yes, I similarly grew up in the Focolare, knew it since I was a young person, and have since really taken a path personally and professionally shaped by this calling to foster unity in my life. And so similarly marked by and inspired by these important historical moments of unity between communities of, while different faiths, definitely shared values. And so it's really exciting and such a blessing to be together and be coming up on this important 25th anniversary, marking an important pact that we'll talk about soon. I'll pass it to Karen.
Thank you. Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm Karen, and I also come from Illinois, but currently we're all here in Pittsburgh, so that's wonderful. Just want to thank everyone for this opportunity for us to share, the importance of both of our communities coming together for a common goal. And just really excited to share, if it's personal experiences, professional decisions of how our relationship with the two communities have really informed a lot of my decisions as a person. So really excited to be a part of this.
Okay, last but certainly not least, Sister Muslima.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
My name is Muslima. As mentioned before, I'm actually from Columbus, Ohio. So I'm currently there. I have was raised under the teachings of W. Mohammed, and through through the path, I've known the Focolare for going on over 20 years now. So looking forward to having a discussion about the upcoming event and hopefully some good dialogue.
Excellent. I wanted to do a round of applause when you said Columbus. I got my blood through my mother comes through Columbus and my grandmother. So shout out to Columbus, Aunt Rhoda. I hope you're listening. You get this message soon. But as you all mentioned, both of you, all of us have mentioned, our relationship from our faith community, and then us coming together in this pack of our two leaders. You mentioned, Kate, about 1997. Were you, when you heard the news, or you said you were in Ireland at the time, how did it, how was the communication? I know, because fortunately I was able to be there. I was young as well. I think I might have been just going into high school as well. And so we were there live, but how did you all hear it from Ireland?
Sure, yeah. We in the Focolare Movement have our different forms of communication. We have especially a monthly live stream that's been going on for years now. Before it was cool, before it was trendy to live stream, I guess we were doing it to keep in touch with each other around the world. And it was definitely a big piece of news that came out just after that event. And for us, I guess for me as a teenager in high school, it was just really another sign that a more just and united world is possible. That two communities can come together, can have this deep friendship, this partnership, and that our leaders can make a pact of unity amongst each other. For me, it was just really another confirmation that unity is possible, that my desire for a united world, that I had to follow that I was called to that. And so it was really I would say an important sign for me that I needed to go ahead in this journey of living for a united world. And also something I could speak to with my friends, if friends, high school friends, didn't understand maybe interfaith dialogue or didn't understand differences, whether racial, religious, whatever. It was something that I could really reference, whether it was in my heart or with words. It was something that I could reference. And then even later on, I would say I was sharing just earlier in the car. So some short years after that, sadly, September 11th happened. I was getting ready to move into college that week. So when September 11th happened, I was packing my bags to move into my college dorms. And it was just such a, like, I feel like it changed the way that I lived that event as well, that worldwide tragic event. And somehow felt closer to the Muslim community, be it in the US, be it around the world, just because I felt, like there was sadly a wave of anti-Islamic behavior and feelings. And so I know that us Focolare young adults, teenagers, college students, our reaction after September 11th was to go and find our closest masjid, to make community with them, to break bread with them, to get to know them and make sure that they felt our solidarity. And we were definitely doing that as a result of the relationship between Chiara Lubick and WD Mohammed. It was definitely a fruit. Those relationships that we built with our local Muslim friends in Dublin was a fruit of the relationship between Chiara Lubick and WD Mohammed.
Actually, before I turn over to Bilal, Muslima, since Kate brought up that tragic event of 9/11 and being a friend of the Muslim community and able to share a positive image or positive relationship with those who were not familiar with our faith, you as a Muslima, your name right? How was it for you around that time? I know I remember being in gym class and I heard all types of names and stuff, and I wasn't even, you can't really identify me with any apparel of a Muslim, but you being a Muslim sister representing the faith with your kimar and your dress, how was that moment for you?
Okay, sorry, I was just unmuting. It was for me, I think, because in Columbus we do have a very large Muslim population. So it was for me personally, there wasn't, I would say, as many issues that I had, or I didn't face as many issues as I know, like a conversation with other people did. I'm born and raised in Columbus, and so I only had maybe one or two, like, where someone tried to make a snide comment, or and I'm slightly sarcastic sometimes. So it didn't affect me the same way. I was older, actually, so I wasn't, as an adult, I didn't feel I would be threatened, if that makes sense. I didn't feel, because I felt I could defend myself in that sense, verbally. There was no physical, like, interactions that was a concern. Actually, in Columbus, the center I go to, it was made very clear, like with the local police, this place is not to be bothered. And that was their doing for a lot of the Muslims here in Columbus. We had, like, you knew there would be a police presence, or there would be offered to you. And just made sure to, I would say, have patience during that time. So during that time, it wasn't, like I said, for me, it wasn't as extreme, and I'm thankful for that. At the same time, I recognize that wasn't the norm for a lot of the people I've met who are Muslim during that time, and from the stories I've been told.
Excellent. I would like to also hear from Sasha and Karen, particularly what drove you both to the Focolare Movement. What is your all's personal story with the Focolare Movement? How did you all get involved with it?
I'll kick off and then pass to Karen. I know the Focolare Movement because of my family. My parents, and specifically my father, immigrated to the United States from the Philippines, and they settled in Hyde Park, which is a South Side neighborhood in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And there, the Focolare, when it was coming into the United States, it's because the Focolares, Chiara Lubick founded it in Trent, Italy. in the post World War II or in the middle of World War II. And so, from the years thereafter, when her first companions were coming into the United States, Chicago was one of the cities, one of the first cities from which the community in the United States grew and flourished. And my family at the time was coming from the Philippines with very little to their name, and were just so kind of, I think, attempting to live the American dream, so to say. And if not for the Focolare, they would not have had the relationships and the true sense of community to make it, because they didn't have very much financially, but had a lot in terms of just the love and the care from the local Focolare community. And so through that, I with my cousins and the rest of my family, really participated in events and got to know so many different people, but most importantly was exposed to this spirituality of unity, of really living in mutuality with your neighbor, the tools of dialogue, and just having that be such a natural part of my life, because you're a young person and that becomes your norm is I think really it's really formative for me. And so from those early years until now, my adulthood, I've really taken that foundation to value diversity, to really see and know that God has sort of manifested himself in love in all of those around me. And if I love my neighbor, I love myself. As I love myself, I'm really able to live out my faith that much more concretely and grow in my relationship with God. And I've always seen that so concretely lived out by our Muslim brothers and sisters within the community of WD Mohammed. And in moments when there's so many moments, I think even like in my travels with Muslima, where we together we've gone to Budapest, Hungary for large international movements, really advancing peace and solidarity and brotherhood at a global level, and seeing all of these young people inspired to do the same of all faith traditions. But for me personally, to have one-on-one experiences with, say, Muslima, to see her live her faith out so concretely, inspired me to live my faith that much more concretely. And I think all of that truly comes from that pact that Kiara and WD Mohammed made May 18th, 1997 in Harlem, New York, at the Malcolm Shabazz Mosque. And who knew really what fruit that would seed and like make flourish, like in many parts of the world, and certainly locally in Chicago and in the rest of the United States, where post 9/11, as Kate brought up and you're all sharing about, we really needed that. So it made it so much more relevant and impactful, that pact having been made in 97, and then in the decade to come after, we were really doing and inspired in a much more, we were driven, I think, to really live it out, their legacy, with everything happening. So that's my story and parts of it. Karen?
Yeah, no, I think Sasha really did a great job of expressing, I think, why there's a lot of people involved in the Focolare and members, and also different communities engaged with the Focolare because of this strive to build unity and believing in universal brotherhood. So I first met the movement actually through my aunt. So also my family is from the Philippines. My parents both immigrated there. From there to here in Illinois. And my aunt was an active volunteer of the Focolare movement. And she was the only one in my family that was part of this movement. And I just remember being a really little girl, like a little girl, and always looking up to my aunt, that I always felt she lived love in a very concrete and simple way. And so we have just growing up, and I've just attended a lot of the different events through the Focolare and kind of just stayed with it as a young adult. And I think for me, what carried over the years of why I kept involved with the Focolare movement was just like that concrete way of living the gospel in simple acts. And you meet so many people from all over the world, and you can just see that they have great intention to love your neighbor, fellow neighbor, in many different ways. And I think I was just very captivated by that simplicity of living the gospel.
Excellent, excellent. I know that the pact that we're talking about in '97, and then we talked about 9/11, and then we go into, I guess, 2008, when both of our leaders that year passed or returned to Allah. And we were fortunate to be a part of that group who continued the pact. We came out to Castle Gandolfo, I believe, a part of the conference that week in October. I think it was in October as well. And we met the new lead, you all's new leader at that time, Maria Voce, and she greeted our community with peace, and we shared time with the Focolare in their community. We went to Mariopolis, which was a community of the Focolare, and saw their schools, their young people being active. I think it was over 100 and something nations represented at that community there. And they embraced us. We called the event. They thought I was a rock star. Sidebar, but it was nice just to see people from all different nationalities embracing this shared unity of faith in the one God. Muslima, can you share your experience? I know you also got to travel to the different communities internationally with the Focolare.
Yes, I did. It was the one event that Sasha mentioned was called the Gen Fest, Generation Festival. That I've met Sasha once before that. Is kind of side note. But I think that's the second time I saw when we were there, so I was kind of happy. I knew I had one familiar face. But I met a lot of other people there. Some that I still, of course, have very dear feelings for. But we went to that festival, it was International Festival, and I forgot how many people came. I think was it 8,000, or am I lowballing it?
More.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Tens of
And
thousands.
yes. And I was surprised because that was the first time that I had basically traveled outside the United States. And I always tell people, actually, when I travel, that I was always fortunate to be able to travel the way I did, because I was able to travel with people of like mind, of just the values, having an idea of faith in God and values. And so that was definitely a wonderful experience. But yes, I traveled there for that event. Then I was able to travel again to Castel Gandolfo in Italy with the Focolare. I was able to, fortunately, be able to make a few trips there to visit them. And one of the events was the Focolare and Muslims unity. It was towards unity, and there was even a book presented at that event. So the relationship definitely has grown, and I think that was the vision at the time that our two leaders at that time had. I think it was that, and sharing experiences and sharing a connection. And this event that we're trying to present now, I think, is just, I would say, trying to show the fruits of their dedication and commitment. I say to God, to me, because of just the passion that they had for humanity and just for people. So that to me is that's the way I see the relationship. In the sense of, it's funny, the song that was playing at the first part, and it says, I don't want to dishonor my ancestors. And I was like, well, I don't want to dishonor those good people. I would love to be amongst them again. So I think this event definitely is something that's needed for the time. And hopefully it is successful, but I'll plug Sasha. She's a part of it, so I know it'll be successful. But that's it. I just, but yeah, I think that's the way I see it as far as the relationship goes in the pact, and my take on this event that we're planning.
So we have a comment here from Zarina Shakir. Yes. I said it right. Yes. We also had the wonderful opportunity to visit the incredible folklore community in Italy. A beautiful visit and the hospitality unmatched. The food, great. The room, everything was spectacular. Absolutely.
Excellent, excellent. And we'll come up on the half an hour mark and just want to do a quick station identification, AD. Thank you all. You're now tuned in. For those who are just tuned in, you are tuned into New and Freedom Exchange, your place for cultural identity, for cultural expression through social identity and community empowerment / development. We are live here now with the members of the Focolare community, the Focolare movement, along with our dear beloved sister Muslima. And we're talking about the relationship between the two communities of Imam Mohammed and Sister Kiara Lubrick, the Focolare movement, tonight. And we have also a quick commercial that we would like to share for an upcoming course for the Islamic Leadership Training Development course from the conveners of Imams underneath Imam Mohammed. So we'll be right back in 40 seconds. 40 seconds. Okay. We're back. So thank you for that. Do it again. That is our commercial for the Islamic Leadership Training Development course, which is out of the conveners of Imams underneath the Association of Imam Mohammed. So please apply for that course. It is a course of exploring the language of Imam Mohammed, his very unique language. So please apply. It's only 30 slots available, so first come, first serve. So we will put the website link in the comment section so everyone can apply. Thank you. Well, let us now transition to the event that's coming up, the family reunion of the celebration of the historical pact between our two communities, which is coming up, which we need people to register for. The theme is Forward Together, Building a Just and United World. The community of Imam Mohammed and members of the Focolare Movement, founded by Kiara Lubrick, celebrating their friendship and embracing society's challenges for a better future. That is Sunday, November 14th, 2021, from 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Registration link is there, and the Zoom link will be provided at a later date, but upon your applying. So please register now. The link is in the comment section below as well. We'll put the link back up. The link is on the screen. It's a short link, but there's also the link in the comments. So please, we encourage members of the Focolare community and the members of our community of Imam Mohammed to tune in to learn more and to celebrate this historical pact. We will have a live reenactment of what took place in Harlem, New York, 25 years ago. We will have also some reflections from those who were there, or those who were present, who have recorded some needed reflections and some historical recollections of this historical pact, which we will share during that hour and a half that we have with you all. So let's talk a little bit about the event. I mean, I know I talked to it already, but I'm sure we are part of the planning process. Myself, Brother Deen and Sister Marsha, Sister Muslima, and the Focolare. So anything that you all like to say towards the event, please feel free to do so.
I just first and foremost, there's two things that really excite me about this event. Excite and also give me hope, I guess, for having this event coming up is, yes, it marks 25 years of our relationship. That is no small, insignificant thing. That means so much. It did, as we said, because of a post 9/11 anti-Islamic time in the years following it. And And then now 2.5 decades later, we find ourselves in the middle of a pandemic. We find ourselves with only continuing momentum of social unrest and really recognizing the importance of injustices and inequities in our society. So where are we finding these manifestations of unity? Where are we finding people like-minded, to use Muslima's term, like-minded, like-hearted, like-spirited, like-valued, to come together and really bear witness to the possibility of a more just and united world? And this event aspires to do that while respecting the circumstances we're living in. It'll be virtual, right? But I think what excites me too is actually the journey and the process that we've all embarked on together as two communities. I would say for myself personally, living out the pact, even as we build this event together between two communities, coming together in collaboration, intergenerationally, really looking to the wisdom of our older generation who's there and present, and then our young generation to really make this relevant and accessible, and the artistic expressions that we have planned to include to really again honor and bear witness to this important, momentous historical pact and what it means to us today, as well as I think experiences that will be shared. Like all of that came as a fruit of everyone's input involved, and it's really felt like it's certainly felt up until now a co-created experience, a co-created journey that is really relying on the strengths of both communities. And I think that's I would like to think that Kiara and Imam W, Mohammed are smiling down upon us and are blessing us as we continue to forge ahead in producing something special to commemorate their legacy. So for me so far, that's what's been. I'm really looking forward to November 14th. And we hope you are there and you'll be there.
Excellent. Muslima, is there anything you would like to add to that?
That's actually like summing it up. I just I hope that people do register. I think it's something, like you said, it's something that's needed, which is just seeing those moments of unity that a lot of times you might take for granted or not know exist. So friends, families, telling in everyone, just register. And I say have a moment of enjoy. Hopefully it'll be like a moment of peace for you. So that's what I think of. It's like you'll see good, positive things and that have been happening and are happening. And so I hope that's what I'm hopeful for. I'm hopeful for that we can present that to people in a way that gives some hope during these times.
Yeah, I agree, Muslima. I was thinking just like you. I was like, don't only show up, bring friends who you know would like it, who need this. I like what Sasha said about a feeling of hope. If you have friends who you know need a sign of hope, need a moment of peace, bring them along, send them the link, encourage them to come. A couple of years ago, a group of us pre-pandemic were taking a bus from upstate New York into New York City, into Manhattan. And it was quite an intergenerational group. I was on the bus and a young man, younger than me, college student, was sitting beside me. And at a certain stage, he got really excited because we, without realizing it, we were passing by the Malcolm Shabazz Mosque in Harlem. And he was like, that's where it happened. That's where the pact happened. And he was super, super excited. And it really struck me in a really positive way. It was like a beautiful surprise for me to know that this generation was also excited about that. And I think for me, that's what this event is about. It's about making everybody just as excited as that young man, that young friend of mine was. That mosque means something to us all. This community means something to us all, and like bringing that into today. Like, what does it mean for us in today's society? What does this relationship mean for today's society? What does it mean that I now have two brothers who I didn't know about, Imam Bilal and Mujahideen, that I have these brothers, that I have this sister Muslima, as well as the other family that I have. So if anybody needs that love, needs that hope, bring them along too.
Absolutely. We have a special call out because we having the reenactment. So we're looking for Kate, you want to speak to that? I was trying to pull up my notes where that was at in regards to those who would like to play a role in the reenactment of that event.
Yeah, and I mean we can both speak about it, Mujahideen, but yeah, absolutely. We would love to involve our teenagers in this event as well, and make sure that our teens or preteens really feel ownership of this relationship, of this sense of family that we all have too. And so what we're going to do for our teens and preteens is have a couple of simple online workshops where they'll first and foremost get to spend time with each other in a virtual space, of course, but they'll get to spend time with each other. And they'll also have a chance to reenact that moment, that special day that happened in Harlem in 1987. And so they will reenact that moment, that day, that event, and hopefully also build relationships of unity and peace amongst each other. And then that will be a wonderful way also for them to own that day and also to present it to everybody present at the event. Right, Mujahideen? What else would you add to that?
Yeah. So if you or your grandson or your granddaughter or your daughter have an interest in reenacting this historical event, if you have interest in theater, if you're a musician, we would love for you to join us. We're going to put our show email in the comments for those of you who would like to reach out to us. And we'll soon also, I think we do also have a short link. On the link, you can, I think, also register as a, to show your interest in being one of those reenactors. So, yeah.
I think this. I'd just like to share, my thoughts about this event coming up and why it's important to me, and it's important to you all who are watching, those who will watch later this live stream. I think it's imperative that now more than ever that we find the commonalities, our commonalities, our shared common bonds that we have amongst people of faith, amongst humanity, and that is what this relationship to me signifies: the coming together on the basis of humanity, and the basis of humanity that we all believe in a creator that we were all created from, that the creator created us, and that we are his servants, and that we have this purpose of why we were put on this earth, and that is to serve him and him alone. And this is important. And more times than ever, a lot of those who follow a religion is being mocked at. There's no regard for religion anymore. The seriousness has left for people, and there's a lot of people who are lost. They're just wandering around. When I say lost, I'm not talking about lost without no compass or GPS. They're lost spiritually. They're lost. They just don't have that guide in life, and they're just wandering here. And the purpose of these two groups coming together, I think, is to show that that common bond, the common bond that we all share as humanity, and also to show the guiding light and the importance of having that connection to your creator, and how that benefits us, in the long run, in the short term. It benefits us so much that we're grounded upon something. We're grounded upon something that keeps us focused and balanced, to maneuver throughout society, and not to get sucked in to the devices of vices that are out there to get us off the track of remembering our creator. So this celebration is coming up is a remembrance of how the creator united these two figures, these two leaders. How that even happened was because of the creator making it so to happen. it's never been done to this magnitude prior on this scale, not like this. And this speaks to, again, how the two movements formed. But now I'll get into the history of how the Focolare movement was founded, which is I encourage people to read it. It's a very important history, and how our community was founded as well here in the wilderness, what we used to be called the wilderness of North America, with Islam coming to the African American, or being reacquainted to the African American, because we believe that Al-Islam was with our ancestors who were taken from Africa and came here and taken and put on boats and sailed here and put in slavery and bondage. So to become reacquainted with that and to work through those 90 years, of the Nation of Islam, and then coming into Al-Islam proper, and for the Imam to make these connections with other people, it wasn't never happening. Muslims were not engaging in this level of dawah or interfaith. We call it interfaith or intrafaith, was not happening. This happened, and this helped spark what you're seeing now with all this talk about interfaith dialogue. This is what led up to that point where we are now, and we want to celebrate that pact. We want to celebrate the communities that we come from, and we value this relationship, and we want to continue valuing this relationship and enhance this relationship moving forward. We can only do that with the help and supporters of both movements coming together. So, God willing, we will have a successful event.
Excellent. As we come a little after the hour, coming up a quarter after the hour, we'd like to close out, but we will give all of you all, our guests, our sisters, to share with us some closing remarks as we close out. We'll start with Muslima.
Well, I would just say I hope there was some good information here tonight. So now everyone will need to register, and register like 10, 20 other people. But I hope everyone attends. I really encourage it. I think it'll be something different, something good, something positive. I just can't say that enough. I think it's a lot of great people that participate. I personally can admit my participation is not as much, but any participation, or I should say all the participation from those who are helping with this, it's all really just to try to show the love, I think, that we have developed, and hopefully encourage people to to see that happiness and find it. I really do. So with enough, that's enough. That's enough. But I just want people to sign up, register, and that'll be my last word.
Thank you. Karen, we'll start with next.
Sure. I think this great time that we had together really highlighted the purpose of the program, and I really look forward to the event. And I really hope everyone who's listening or interested to, definitely what Muslimina said, like to register, but more importantly, this process of being part of just listening to the committees that are planning. There's a lot of intentionality, going into this, all the work from both of our communities. And I think a lot of it is what we've already discussed, embracing the past of the previous generation, recognizing what we've done in our current generation. And what I'm most excited is that this is like a springboard to the next generation. And what's beautiful with that is we have yet to even discover what that is. And that comes with just, the mystery of God, and the mutual love that we have between both of our communities. So I think this passing of the torch, if you want to call it, this continuous relationship is just, it's ongoing. And so I'm just really excited again to rediscover that leading up to the event.
Sasha, tag, you're it.
Tag, I'm it. I just want to echo Muslima and Karen aspects of their comments. Like, yes, register, bring your friends, bring your family, and know that this, I love how Imam Bilal continues to call it the family reunion, because it is. And so inviting others into the family and to really experience that sense of family through all that we have in store, that we've been building together, and the planning committees, is it's really just meant to be a fruit of the love we share for one another. And I just want to again, like, emphasizing something that just struck me when you were speaking, Imam Bilal, about the pact and how monumental that was, especially for the Muslim community, and just how important it was and remarkable for Imam W. Mohammed to enter into and recognize a pact of unity that he wanted to with someone from the Catholic faith, like what that meant, not just for both communities and sharing and expressing mutual love for one another, but really that was like, I remember as a young adult learning and hearing, like, this isn't just for like symbolic of our two communities coming together. This is meant to be a symbol of fostering unity, like beyond our communities, of all people of, different faiths, traditions, non-believers, just anyone who really believes in humanity and the goodness in humanity. And so to make that the center again of this family reunions, for that to be the fabric of this upcoming November 14th event, like, if you're human and you love humanity, come on down and register and be a part of it. And yes, I think it'll be a springboard into what's next that only God can know and really create. So we'll see what happens as a result of us reunioning together.
All right, Kate, bring us on home.
All right. Well, I can't add anything that my sisters here to what my sisters here already said. I have a soft spot for our teens and preteens. I spend a lot of my time with our youth in their youth formation, and so again, all of us, but in a special way, Brother Mujahideen and myself will be working with that project that we mentioned of reenacting the pact. So any questions, even if you want to know a little bit more about it, you think you might know someone who might be interested, send an email to the address that Brother Mujahideen shared in the link, and we are excited to meet with your teenage, preteen friends and bring them on over. It'll be a wonderful experience.
Excellent. Before we close out, we have one more announcement. We're going to remind the people about the registration, of course, for the reunion. But we do have to issue the save the date flyer. Oh, we don't have the uploaded one. Okay, that's fine. This is coming out of the Imam Abdullah, our good friend Imam Abdul Alim Razak of Jersey City, Mash Aliman, is having a banquet. It's called Honoring the Keepers of the Masjid. This particular masjid is also in the community of Imam Mohammed, and they have a roof that they need to be fixed. It needs to be addressed before the winter, before it gets really bad with the weather. They really want to get it fixed. So there's a banquet coming up at the Robert Treat Hotel in Newark, New Jersey, November 20th. Save the date. Tickets are $100. It comes with a dinner as well, and there'll be live entertainment, God willing. And you invite everyone to come out to buy a ticket. Even if you can't come, buy a ticket. If you can't come, bring a friend. At $100. We have Imam Idris from National Law, who is confirmed. Here we go. It's too small for me, Aki. I can't see that. But Imam Idris is coming. And the Imam from Passaic, New Jersey, is also going to be a guest speaker. So come, please. And the Focolare, we reach out to you. There's people in Focolare in New Jersey. We invite them to come as well to celebrate the legacy of Mash Aliman in Jersey City, and to also raise funds, needed funds for the masjid to rebuild the roof and to get it ready for the winter, but also to expand their programming. They want to expand more programming to the young adults, to service the community and to service the needs of the community. So we just need to get beyond this construction period, so it can relieve the pressure off the imam and the believers there, so they can focus more on the work that needs to happen in the community without worrying about when it rains, the roof will start to leak, which we know is a big concern. Of course, while we're here, don't forget save the date, November 14th, 2021, a family reunion between the communities of Imam Mohammed and the Focolare Movement, 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The theme is Forward Together, Building a Just and United World. So please come and register. The link is in the comment section below. Bring a friend and come and join in this historical moment to remember where we were, where we are, and where we're going as well. And lastly, do not forget our beloved brothers from the conveners of Imam Mohammed, the Imams, put together a course for anybody to take. Really, it's open to 30 slots. 30 slots open for the course, Islamic Leadership Training and Development Program. So those who are training to become imams, those who are students of the imam, teachers, educators, whatever the case may be, please come. Registration has already begun. First come, first serve. And again, this explores the knowledge of Imam Muhammad, his leadership, and what knowledge body that he left for us, but for the world, and how we can expand upon that and grow with that and establish, keep establishing model communities as well. So that's it. My announcements are done.
Excellent. So we'll close out with that. Our event, we didn't. Well, I don't know if we failed to mention, but it is free. It's not only is it free. It's I had this tagline. I lost it. Oh, not only is it free, it's for freedom. Maybe new freedom. Actually, if we continue to grow. So don't worry. Tune in. We'll also be live streaming. Excellent presentation. I'd love to have you all on My Words Make People program on October 24th. So you guys just been re-invited to join our dear brother Michael McAllister here on the 24th to also continue to talk about this beautiful event coming up. Okay, so that's all we have here. I'm going to do two things. I'm going to do, as we close out, we're going to do a quick video of the Imam Muhammad actually speaking at the Vatican, and then we're going to close out with a track from our dear brother, Councilman Bashir Jones. He didn't make it to Mayor this time for Cleveland. Cleveland, y'all sleeping. Hopefully y'all wake up and y'all get him back next time. So until next time, we greet you all the views of peace and paradise. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Good night, everyone. Peace.
Good night. Assalamu alaikum.
Thanks for having us, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For the next witnesses, we move out of Europe. From North America, Imam Deen Mohammed of the American Muslim Mission.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. With Allah's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. Vatican and its religious gathering, we dearly regard this invitation. Servants of God from the heavenly faith communities of the world, we are joining one another here at the Vatican in Rome with His Holiness John Paul II, because Muslims, Christians, and Jews and others share basic values and a belief in a virtuous life that wants justice and peace for all. Growth in population, modern transportation, and modern media make for circumstances that put us in one global picture. Television will occasionally put the great religious societies in the living room of its viewers. We cannot but look for opportunities for religions to meet and by sincere discussion come to a better knowledge of each other. We thank Allah for this occasion, for leaders from the great religions to meet here in this holy city of the Catholics, hosted by His Holiness John Paul II, their leader, who has our delegation among his Muslim well-wishers and fervent admirers. I have devoted my life to building bridges. Inclusion was in my heart. I wanted that, I believe I wanted that, and I think my father conditioned me to want that. That is, not to be separated, but to be with all good people. I wholeheartedly accept and embrace with you the idea of unity, mutual sharing, and love for one another. We have to condition ourselves to be at peace. God has given us the requirements that we have to meet for a life of faith in Him. And when we meet these conditions, we do have peace. There are many convincing signs everywhere. Those with open eyes, belief, and faith will see them and hear them, will hear the sounds everywhere that goodness is on the rise. We're living in a time of revival of the true life that God put into the human souls when He created the first person. A new world of faith community all over the world is on the rise. God is one, His creation is one whole. There is one universal law for all matter, for all material things, and everything is related. God has made things different, human beings too, because God wants unity to progress. The diversity is to provide the unity with legs, with wheels, with movement for more progress. God said He had made us humanly different by color, by nationality, to encourage us to walk together and get acquainted with each other, to have peace and unity. We thank His Holiness John Paul II for making this opportunity possible. As the Imam and representative for a large number of Muslim Americans, we greet this multi-religious gathering with peace, salamu alaikum, with peace and with brotherly love. We ask that divine favor be upon all the participants and on this holy place. Ameen. Peace.
Ringraziamo l'imam.
Feeling really emotional, man. Bravo, I appreciate you, man. Mac, I appreciate you, man. Davey, what's up, man? It's our time, man. Jesse Jackson, he said that we are somebody. America treat us like we ain't nobody. We need help from somebody. I'm getting tired of seeing black bodies. We'll be okay, that's what my mama said. We unhealed, that's what the drama said. Yes, we can, that's what Obama said. American terror, that's what Osama said. You wanna break something, go and break the ceiling. You wanna start something, go and start the healing. How you wanna raise hell but won't raise your children? Wanna burn the building but won't start building. I want the violence to decrease, whether it's the streets or it's the police. Yo, be a real one, stay away from snakes. I gotta make a change, no time to waste.
Tell me what you see when you look at me. Is it something that you hate, or something that you wanna be? Help me understand how you can be so mad at my existence. On our way to freedom, on our way to freedom, fighting for our freedom, fighting for our freedom. On our way to freedom, on our way to freedom, fighting for our freedom, fighting for our freedom.
The system ain't broken, doing doing what it's supposed to do. Realest words spoken. Kill us in live and live in color. Brother choking, called on his mother, dead in the open. Anybody go and break some glass. It take a real one, bro, to give a class. Anyone can pull a gun and start to blast, but it takes a real man to give a pass. Be proactive, not reactive. How I make a change, Bashir? Be active. Boy, you go and sell some dope, but won't go and vote. Father left early, he don't know how to cope. I came too far, boy can't fail. They said I'm a sellout. Shit, what I said? I don't never fold, I don't never fold. And what's not for sale, brother, is my soul. Question you gotta answer, brother, what's your goal? You wanna be a diamond or stay cold? You gotta change the system. Shit, you can break a window, but they gon' fix them. My point is, you expect a racist to change? He ain't the problem. You gotta change your brain. Benefit from oppression, but when you gon' change and learn the lesson? When you gon' realize that you a blessing? Gotta work, in the afterlife I'll do my resting. When you gon' realize that you the blessing? Gotta work, in the afterlife I'll do my resting. It's the truth.
Freedom is not won by a passive acceptance of suffering. Freedom is won by a struggle against suffering. Racial understanding is not something that we find, but something that we must create. What is needed is a realization that power without love is reckless and abusive, and that love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best is love, implementing the demands of justice. Justice at its best is love correcting everything that stands against